the money was never the question there. He was working. He was trying to build something for himself. And that was what was appealing about it. I just didn't want to be like engaging with one of those, just
I could have. Everybody listening knows.
the cringy
And if they don't know, it's because that's who they are.
The fact that somebody owned a business, that's never been a turnoff. What is a turnoff is fakeness. If you are
Tell when someone's being fake.
100%. Anytime somebody has to talk so much about their success, it's because they don't have any. And if they did, they'd be out there too busy trying to achieve it rather than making posts about it on Instagram with somebody else's sports car.
You and Cody are at a bar, let's say, and you're going to talk about me and Lauren. Since this podcast is about how it affects your relationship, what would you guys talk about? If I asked Cody, like, why do you love me? He'd be like, great question. I just do.
It's happened once where Jenny said that, and I struggled for a second, and she was hurt.
He struggled not for a second. Guys,
Lauren does this all the time.
Wait. There's a very similar question that happened where they're like, Cody, why do you feel this way? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I can't explain. I just feel how I feel, and I don't know how to express feelings in words like that. One time you just asked me, like, does that bother you? And I said, no, it's fine. And then like I had thought about it and I processed for 10 minutes, and then I said, yeah, no, it does. It actually does bother me.
Anybody who is like owns an agency or is beginning to date somebody who owns an agency, when you are getting into that situation, I know it sounds cliche and ridiculous, but truly communication is the most important thing.
Many people don't know they're in a bad relationship until they're in a good one, or until they see a good one, and then they find out what's healthy and what's normal and that sort of thing. Being with the wrong person can make you a bad guy. Which seems appropriate because, I mean, since everybody's here, and we actually don't all get together that frequently, not all four of us. So it is a little bit of a just coincidence and fortunate that it happens to be in Japan too.
Yeah, the last time I had the opportunity, Lauren had to work. We were in Iowa City for the team bonding thing, rock climbing, and it was just myself, Cody, and Jenny with Lisa and Eva. But Lauren had to work, so. And then the last time, well, I guess you all came to Minnesota for my birthday.
Yeah.
But you came late because but Cody we recorded those 3 episodes in my basement or in my office, and that's when Lauren, you, Cody, and I tested out this podcast recording software.
Oh, yeah, was that day?
Yeah, it was the same day.
That was a separate trip.
Oh, a separate trip.
It was. That was that day.
It's your birthday.
What?
Your birthday was when I was there.
Yeah, that was that time he just came up and ate.
Yeah, the day you left was the day all of this arrived.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was like,
unfortunate timing.
But the cool thing is we feel super professional with all this stuff now. So, I mean, I'm assuming you can see it on the cameras. We got this little recorder here. We all have our own microphones and headsets, and we sound great. I don't know if it's going to turn out great, but here we are. But we wanted to talk about this episode for a while, or do this episode for a while. We just wanted to get you all involved on it. And we had this thing early on where we didn't really want to interview people all the time on the podcast. And lately we've been hitting like a string of interviews, like back to back to back. We had Ilya, and then Alec, and then we have you two. I almost said 3.
We've got some more lined up.
Yeah, and we got some more interviews lined up. So, but since we're all in Japan, it's more fun this way. So, leaning back, because I'm getting a little bit of feedback. But the first question I had was, Jenny, what were your thoughts when Cody decided to partner up with me and start an actual agency versus doing the freelance stuff he was doing on the side?
I was excited. I grew up with entrepreneurship in my family. So my dad had his own business growing up, multiple businesses. He would do them for like 10 years and then sell them. So when Cody said he was partnering up with you to do an agency, it wasn't so much so that it was an agency itself. I was happy with any business. It could have been e-commerce. It could have been anything. But I was really excited to see him doing something like that because it's what I'm familiar with and what I know, and it's very comfortable. So
Starting a business or just like an agency in general?
Starting a business or like having business in my life is what I am used to. I'm actually the only person in my intermediate family that works for an employer. No one else in my family works for an employer but me. So entrepreneurship is very much... Yeah, right. I guess I have an LLC and I do freelance. But I don't have like an agency or a multi-person operation, you know.
Tell people what you freelance.
Yeah, what
you
you
can't
do.
say that, and they're immediately going to say, "What do you do?"
Okay.
I think we've said what you do, but you tell us what you do.
Okay, so for freelance, I do Amazon consulting. So primarily, I'm doing like Amazon SEO, so creating product listings, helping generate product ideas. I can do PPC, so ads I can do on Amazon now too. I'm doing anything from design. Basically, I could do the whole suite of things needed to launch an Amazon listing and then to manage that listing too. So that's kind of my expertise, but I am able to do Shopify, anything e-commerce related is my area of focus. But Amazon's my bread and butter, I guess you could say.
Cool. I wanted to get your opinion on that because Lauren has a different opinion on it. Well, not a different opinion, a different angle.
Well, and a different experience, right? So, because that was my question for her. Because, so let me just say the question first, which is, what were your first thoughts when you saw what Jake did as a side hustle for the first time? Because you met Jake while Jake and I were doing this, not beforehand, right?
So
Let it loose.
okay. To be fair, so when I first met him and he was telling me about, oh, I own my own marketing agency, two thoughts came to my mind. I either thought, oh gosh, he's like one of those guys online who wants to get a 12-year-old Lamborghini on a 28% interest rate, or
What's wrong with that?
Those are our listeners.
Or he was in an MLM and
a multi-level marketing.
He was like a multi-level marketing, and it was going to become one of those like, no, like I own my own business, and it was going to start vague, and then maybe the next time I saw him, he was going to be like, so we had a good time. I wanted to see you again. And also I wanted to tell you how you could have complete financial independence working 2 hours a day. And so because here's the thing. And as a female who has dated or tried to date anybody in the past 7 years, anytime a guy is like, yeah, I own my own business, it's kind of like, But like,
do you actually?
Like, do you?
Yes.
But like, do you?
And I don't see, like, we were both on the dating apps, and I never saw like the other side of things, and like women like don't put that in their profile or like mention anything like that. So when Lauren was like, yeah, all the guys say they own their own business, and I'm just like, I didn't know this. I would have pitched it differently.
They all were. They all have like the emoji afterwards, like CEO with like the dollars with the wings on it, like CEO, business owner. Like if I'm loyal, but if you can't hang with a entrepreneur like me, and I was like, God, is he one of those? Yeah. Right. And so like I had so to be clear, once I did get to know him better and I started to actually understand like what he did and how hard he worked and how successful he was becoming with things, and it wasn't kind of the whole cringy marketing bro charade. I thought it was really cool. Like, I was definitely open to it. I thought it was great that he had this goal and he was working really hard to obtain it. So,
Would you say that you supported him the whole time? Or were you ever opposed?
She says, no, never. I've never supported. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, support, that's a strong word, right? I mean, I think I've said this before about Japanese with Jenny, where I said, I'm going to go study and learn Japanese, and I don't expect you to support me until I prove to you that this is a legitimate thing. And, from that point forward, after I kind of prove it to you, I still don't need your support, but I would appreciate it at least. But first...
Oh, 100%. Like, to me, it wasn't even... I just had to make sure that it wasn't...
You wanted to make sure it was legitimate.
Yes. I just wanted to know. And, like, here's the thing. By legitimate, I mean he's actually going out there working hard and putting in the work. And that doesn't mean that he needs to make $1 million every year from his business in order for it to be legitimate. Like, the money was never the question there. He was working. He was trying to build something for himself. And that was what was appealing about it. I just didn't want to be like engaging with one of those, just
I could have done.
Everybody listening knows.
the cringy
And if they don't know, it's because that's who they are.
the cringy marketing guys who are like, I make $7,000 every time I go to the bathroom. Like,
Here in my garage.
So it's funny because
I'm more proud of.
I explained to one of our upcoming guests. I explained this concept that I feel like our podcast is like a safe space for agency owners, and I felt weird saying that because I hate the term safe space, but I feel like it really is, though, because the people who are cringy, like you're saying, are really like the fake it till you make it kind of people, but they can listen to the podcast in the privacy of like wherever they are, their own home, their car or whatever, and get kind of the real picture of it without feeling like they have to fake it to make it. And then we just listen to the advice that we have, which is we've never faked it until we made it, and you don't have to.
the thing is, those guys, all they do is fake it. They don't ever make it.
That was really Southern. There was no way you said that.
Write that down.
I do like that, though. That was good. That was
Sure.
good, though.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's true.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm
Trademark.
here all week.
I was gonna ask. I'm just gonna jump in, and I was gonna ask and say, what advice do you have, Lauren, for people who are agents, self-proclaimed agency owners who are single,
And ready to mingle.
and are trying to mingle,
They're attempting to mingle.
Yes.
Mingle attempt.
and they want to exude the confidence that they're an agency owner, but they may now fear they're actually pushing women away, or men, whatever you are into, away because of what you just said about the presence they give off.
I think it's all in being genuine about it. So the thing for me was never like the fact that somebody owned a business. That's never been a turnoff. What is a turnoff is,
Leading with that?
the hashtag hustle culture,
Yes.
like, hashtag swag hustle, whatever. Like, the whole like, I make more money than anyone in this room, and they don't. And like, it's the fakeness. If you
Can you
are
tell when someone's being fake?
100%, anytime somebody has to talk so much about their success, it's because they don't have any. And if they did, they'd be out there too busy trying to achieve it rather than making posts about it on Instagram with somebody else's sports car.
You hear the same thing about relationships. Like the more
100%.
people post about relationships, like the people who are posting every single day, you're like, they're hurting. Maybe. Are you guys okay?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm too busy trying to be successful than to pretend that I am online.
Yeah, like why pretend when you can just enjoy your success or enjoy your relationship.
The other thing that I think is so important is, like, again, just to kind of go back to the question, like, being a business owner itself, that's not a turnoff. It's all in if you're being genuine about it. Like, I don't find, like, I have been with Jake from a lot of changes in the business, and the amount of money he's generated has never changed my opinion on that. I have so much respect for somebody who's actually going out there, busting their ass day in, day out to build something because they want to. And, like, there is a journey in that. And being honest about that and, like, talking about that and talking about how you want to achieve your dreams and stuff, I think that's all great. What's not great is being like, oh, I bought a domain. Now I have $10 million in my bank account.
Yeah, that's gross.
I got a follow up because you said, I think the way I kind of interpret it is that you appreciate the authenticity.
Yeah, just be real about it. Like, no one gets success overnight. Just be honest about it.
What are some other things that you like about being with an agency owner? Like, what do you see as potential perks or benefits?
Dude, you are so good at taking the notes we have and just, like, rolling them into interview format. I just wanted to comment on that. Like, because I'm like, when you say this, it sounds like they're just like, oh, like you're just thinking of it. But then I'm, like, looking at my notes and, like, that son of a, like, it's the next one.
What has been good about it? I have liked it because, I don't know, it's been a journey and it's been fun in a lot of ways, and I have gotten to be kind of his partner going through the highs, the lows, being, a shoulder for support. And I've also enjoyed, like, being in a place where if I can jump in and help or give advice, like, I can be that. I can watch the journey, and it's also, like, piques to my interest, like, well, SEO and stuff. I don't know, but business itself, I love, and so we like to talk about the actual business side of things, and so, like, being able to have those conversations, I just enjoy it. Like, it's just, I don't know, I like it. It's been good.
So you've been, like, a huge help with a lot of stuff that we have. I mean, I'm sure Cody and Jenny, you two talk a lot about the business too. Like, there's stuff that you help me with, Lauren, that's like related to just employment, just, like, questions that I have with, like we said, or Eva, or back when we had Courtney, and just kind of like business ethics in general too. Because there's, like, certain SEO and PPC elements that I talk to you for you to fall asleep to, really. And
I can keep up.
But it's been a huge help to have you to talk to, like, about the business, but, like, also, like you mentioned, the lows, and every time there is a client gut punch to myself or Cody, like, you feel that as well by way of me just kind of sulking and licking wounds. Like, we just had it, like, a week ago. I remember I just, like, I dropped the ball on this client, and, like, that, it was just a huge gut punch to me. And I remember just, like, laying on the floor.
Oh no, it wasn't like that at our household. Oh no, it was like, we might have smiled. I don't know, like, one less person
This is the difference between sales and operations, though, right?
Yes, exactly.
He was very sad, but, like,
I was so sad.
That's a good thing. That's, like, a good way to say, like, I do everything I can to support him 110%, anything Evergrow related. And so, like, sometimes that's just me being like, you know what, like, let's sit back. Like, what were they upset about? Like,
like, let's talk about that.
Let's talk through it.
Yeah.
Jenny, that's so funny.
Yeah, Cody bought you a cake. We were like,
oh my God.
So fun. We laughed. We were not at your cake. We
laughed.
Cody felt sad. Like, he was like, oh, Jake's sad. I'm going to get him a cake. So then Cody had a joke on the cake. So
He
we were
did,
laughing at that.
So
Not your cake.
So I was really upset, and like it threw my entire day off. And by the way, the client stayed with us. Like, and it was smoothed over. It's smooth, totally fine. He's happy. Like, we're all good. But like, I dropped the ball, and Cody sent me a cake. You ordered a cake from Nothing But Cakes, and we went and picked it up.
It was
and
so good.
it was Lauren ate most of it.
Gluten-free.
It was gluten free. I ordered it, or I asked Cody. I was like, "Is this the cake we can both eat, or just me?" And he's like, "It's both. It's gluten free." So I picked it up, and there's a note on it, and it said, "What did it say?"
Cake. Everybody loves cake.
Everybody,
Cake got layers, right?
cake. Yeah. So it was a Shrek reference. I went to go pick it up, and it was the weirdest thing ever because I was like, "Yeah, I have cake for Jake Hunley." And then she was like, "No name for that." And I was like, "What? Try Lauren Guthrie." She goes, "Nope." I'm like, "Okay, try Cody C." And she goes, "There it is."
She's like,
I was like,
geez, how many people could have ordered this
I know.
cake?
So I had to explain it. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. My business partner ordered it for me, but my fiance was supposed to pick it up."
I told him.
I heard it. He gave them first Lauren's name, and then he gave his own, and then he gave yours, and called back.
That's why they were just like, I don't know, we're just gonna put the shortest name in here.
Somebody get the cake. Somebody pick it up.
I know. Anyways, no, I just thought that was funny. You thought that, like, you guys were like, yeah, whatever, one less client. Like, I'm over here like crying.
Oh no, we literally.
Well, yeah, I was very as normal. I was just very robotic about it, and my emotional processing was, this is logistically a little bit easier for us at this point in time in the business. Unfortunately, Jake is sad. I can see that.
Let's order him a $30 cake.
Sad people like cakes. I get him cake. That's what I should do.
Just like such a sequential approach to solving an emotional problem.
It was great though, because I ended up having a big sad the next day. So it took one cake took care of two big sad.
It really did.
That's a good deal.
That's a bargain.
To for the listener, for reference, it's not like one client like paid a salary. It's just in sales, maybe, I guess, because it didn't affect you as much. It doesn't matter how big you are. I think every client let down forever, if you're the one selling that client or you're the relationship holder for that client, is always a gut punch. And logistically, Cody said the client left us, it would have made zero difference to the business. But like,
I think it's especially hard if it's something that you could have done better on your end. You feel like you dropped the ball and you're like, this isn't just not a good fit. I actually dropped the ball on this or something. Then it hurts more.
And it was doing something, it was a little out of our scope, but I still said I would do it, and I didn't. So, and whatever. It is what it is. He's happy. We're happy. We had cake. We're good. We're in Japan. Sorry, you have another question. I rolled into that.
That was good. Let's see. Nah, I don't have a smooth transition. I feel like you built me up. You built me up to be like, he's so good at that. Watch him do it again. Wait, I got nothing there.
Maybe insert like some elevator music, just like a nice transition.
That's funny.
Do the SpongeBob like 9 hours.
3 hours later.
Well, you asked Lauren a question, and I kind of wanted you to ask Jenny the same question.
Oh, I think that's what I wanted to do too, but I forgot.
I haven't heard a lot from Jenny, and I want to hear more.
Okay.
Well, I know why. I didn't want to ask it because I think I asked Lauren, right? So then I thought it would be weird if I was the one to ask Jenny again. So maybe
I give you permission.
Okay.
It's not.
But
9 hours later.
We're kidding.
Jenny, what are some things you like about being with an agency owner?
What I like. Okay. I like the ability for him to work remotely is big for me because I like to travel a lot, and there is seldom a weekend where I'm home 2 weekends in a row. very rare for me, especially in the summer. We're gone usually. I mean, we've been in Japan for 2 months now. We're often up in Minnesota, and we're not home often.
At their cabin, not at my house.
No, well, we do try to stop at Jake and Lauren's when it makes sense. So I appreciate the remoteness, and then I appreciate the being flexible. The flexible schedule is great. He's able to work when he wants, where he wants, and that's probably one of the best parts of it. And most recently they've been growing over the years, and that's exciting too. The financial impact.
She says, "Daddy has money."
I've been with Cody I've known him since 2011, so it's been a while. So I've seen him through many transitions, and it's been really fun. It's fun to see this thing grow and see what he can do.
That's what she said.
Oh no.
This will have to be good too.
What this?
just like I don't know.
Oh, don't worry.
Smooth about it.
Well, no, we'll cut it. Don't worry.
Is this for me or Lauren?
Oh, why don't we let me ask the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do it.
Okay. So, we'll start with Jenny. I'll just go from left to right. Jenny, what are some of your boundaries with work-life balance? So, how do you keep work from creeping into your life / relationship?
I want to start off by saying I don't very well, very poorly. This is currently, as we are recording this podcast, right as we were getting ready to record, I got a notification on my phone that said date night. And I said, oh, why date night when we can work? So we don't do a great job at it, but we do try. So Saturday nights we do date night every week, and that's what we try to do. Unfortunately, Cody likes to work a lot and does. And I honestly, as far as work goes, I probably work just as much, if not more than him. So it's not too difficult. He learns Japanese as well, or has been learning Japanese. So overall, he's spending more time on the business and Japanese, all of his pursuits. But as far as work goes, I do just as much. So it hasn't really been too difficult. Again, I grew up with this entrepreneurship, and it was what was comfortable and familiar with me when I was a kid. We went with my dad to work on Saturdays, and it was something that was fun. Like, he made it fun. We'd have hot chocolate. We'd run around the showroom at his work. It was a happy memory. So with Cody, there's a way that we incorporate work into our routine, into our into our dating life or whatever. I guess, like, we like to talk about business when we're on a date. Like, there's a good chance we're going to talk about something work related, which I know is a big no-no for most people, but it's part of why we like each other. We like each other's work ethic. I love his focus and discipline. I don't know anybody as disciplined as Cody, and it's one of my favorite things about him. So no, we don't do a good job with boundaries. It doesn't bother me
There's one thing
most of the time. What do we do?
When we you say quality time, right? So when we're talking about quality time, if we are together, like sharing the same physical space, but mentally in different places, and happen to be talking to each other, but are giving each other like half attention or a quarter attention and not really being present with the other person, we'll just stop and say, is this quality time? Are we supposed to be having quality time right now? And then
that's just safe word.
Yeah, we do that.
If so, then you take out you put the phone to the side, you take out the earbuds, you say, okay, let's be present with each other.
There's one more thing. There's one more thing we do too. I will not allow texting and driving. It is not something I'm willing to. If
I don't ever do that.
Yeah, so sometimes Cody will be in his car. Jake and Cody talk a lot. Obviously, they're business partners. There's a lot of communication to be done. But if Cody's driving and Jake is messaging him, that's a boundary for me. That's the biggest boundary. That's bigger than date night.
I see. I'm never messaging Cody when he's driving. I'm messaging you.
Yeah, you got it.
TikTok.
Yes.
So wait, I'll message Cody, and like next thing I know, I'll get this response, and then like another response follows that and says, "This is Jenny, by the way."
Yeah, that's my boundary. Non-distracted driving.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Lauren.
Jakob.
Jakob. I'll let you answer this one. I could answer this one myself, but I'll let you answer this. I want the same question for you. What are some of the boundaries that we have in our relationship to prevent work from creeping in? She's gonna be like, so we have these. I'm like, this is new.
I have a feeling this is going to be fun. I just have a feeling it's going to be like the opposite. I'm like, we talk about it on dates. We bring it in.
No, I was actually going to say, I think that, like, I think it's different because, like, when you, not me, but I feel like Jake owning his business, it's not like a 9 to 5 where like he can truly step away from the business. So like the business in a sense is kind of like the third party. Like it's always there, and like
Third wheel.
it is
really is.
and it's, you know, it's not like he like clocks in, clocks out, doesn't give a I care about it very much. Not as much as him because like that's his baby, but like I care a lot by default. And so it's like, it's different. And so like, yes, we talk about Evergrow a lot, and like we do talk about it in things as far as like his business and ideas and, you know, successes or defeats that they're having. Like, yeah, we definitely have those conversations on dates and dinner and that kind of thing. However, we do have, like, there are definitely times that we have had to have honest conversations about like the amount of work at all times. You know, because at some point you logically have to ask the question, do you have the capacity to maintain a romantic relationship while you are so mentally attentive to too many things? Because you can't be that attentive to everything. And I'm not a half-assed person. And so if the relationship, like if you truly cannot have that commitment to an emotional relationship, like maybe it's just not the right thing. And we have had those conversations. And so we just have kind of set those boundaries, like when it is, you know, actually like more than like Saturday, like, or sometime when we're like going out, it's more actually on like weekdays because we already have so little time together. It's like, what, you know, once it's 9-10 p.m. and we're like watching TV together, it's like that might be the only like actual quality time we get to have during the weekdays. And like that's kind of that cutoff point. Like we do need to close the laptop, and I'm guilty of it too.
That's smart. We just don't talk to each other on the weekday. Very smart.
So like Sunday was our date day, and we had like Sunday morning to Sunday night the entire time, just date day. Except since Laura got a new job in Minneapolis, and her weekend is now Sunday, Monday, and I have, you know, Saturday, Sunday is my weekend. Monday I work, Monday she's off. Sunday is always paintball practice in the morning, and so like the only solution to that would be either me leave my day job or quit paintball. And obviously you're not willing to have me just quit paintball or doing things I love. So like, how do we work around that? And
so he quit his job. You know, he didn't. He just kidding.
So, and it's not just like Evergrow. Like I work a lot on a lot of things. This entire podcast, like this takes a lot of effort to produce, and we make no money on it. And and it's not just like cutting and recording and, you know, editing. It's like, or like getting all this equipment in order for us to have a good quality when we actually do this in person. But a lot of it is just kind of like doom scrolling on Facebook and just like finding ways to either promote this or like educate people, which is the whole point of this podcast. And it just like a week ago, we had one of those honest conversations and had to kind of,
After the cake.
It was
Yeah,
post cake.
It was post cake.
It was
Yes,
post-cake.
yes.
PC.
Oh, do you want to get married?
No. Who are you?
Yours nightmare. I'm an agency owning paintballer. Anyways, so conversation PC. We had this honest conversation where I was spreading myself too thin because 2 weeks ago I had a paintball tournament in Philadelphia, which we won, by the way. It's been a while since we recorded. So, we had Alec recording, but I went to Philadelphia for the NXL Mid-Atlantic Major, took first place with Team Carbon. And then the very next weekend, I had a paintball tournament in Indiana. We did awful. We got, ninth place out of 20. So terrible. But then like that Wednesday after I drove back, we had to fly to Japan. So like, and then, you're like, that's every weekend. Yeah, but between those is packing and planning and work and getting everything done and sorted out. And it's not just work for that week. It's planning to be gone for the subsequent weeks. And I was just at my limit and at my capacity and just like having huge anxiety attacks. And it was kind of like in those moments too where, Lauren helped me point out that, hey, something has to give. Like, you've got to stop. So like I decided to like, okay, podcast promotion, done. Like not doing any of that, not scrolling through Facebook, not commenting on like very easy targets in Facebook groups to promote the podcast. Like just, it's done. And like that is like in the last 4 days of me not doing that, prior to leaving, it's cut down on so much time on like quote work. But yeah, I think that was one of the biggest things. And so just spreading myself so thin and really focusing on, the core things that matter, which are Evergrow and Lauren in that order. I'm just kidding. Of course.
Jenny looked at me like, Cody's not kidding.
I often say it is Japanese, Evergrow, then Jenny. And I'm kind of okay with that. That's kind of why I love them.
I told Lauren, I've said this to you, Lauren. It is always Lauren first, because if I lost Evergrow, I would be okay because I still have Lauren. If I lost Lauren, Evergrow would suffer, and that's how I know that Lauren comes first.
Yeah,
but our dogs still come first for me.
It's our dogs, one of our cats, and then me.
No, you're before Mitts. She's like a little cigarette with fur. She just sits there.
Lauren does not like Jack.
He's a dick.
I don't think you guys like either of that.
I love Mitch.
She's
both just crusty as can be. Just the poor thing. She's been on borrowed time for a long while. But I think really what it just general information. I think the thing is like anybody who is like owns an agency or is beginning to date somebody who owns an agency, when you are getting into that situation, I know it sounds cliche and ridiculous, but truly communication is the most important thing. And you have to understand, like, Jenny and I are similar, but we're not identical. And Cody and Jake have similar qualities, but they're not identical. And I as a person have to realize like what I need in a relationship. And I have to be able to honestly communicate that to Jake. And Jake has to be able to honestly communicate and prioritize. And like now what that prioritization and communication looks like will be different for everyone. But I do think as a general rule, when you are kind of in that business owner agency setting where somebody owns the business, it is always going to be more time consuming. And that is something I think you as the partner just kind of, you are either okay with it or you're not. And that is just, I think, a good rule of thumb to know. Like it's never going to be clock in, clock out, black, white,
Yeah, it's never.
cash my check, go home, feed the dogs by 5:30. Like it's never going to be that.
We've talked about this in an episode before, which we asked ourselves the question, how much do you work? And
All of it.
yes, the answer is yes. Cody brought up a good point, which was, do you, like, when I'm in the car and I have to answer a phone call, or when I'm doing whatever, like
Sending a quick email.
yeah, does that count as work? Because you're pretty good at tracking your time and clock.
He's not. He misses a lot. I bet you he misses 15 hours a week.
We're going to call the IRS.
Right? I know. No, he doesn't. I have to remind him a lot, often. But there's a lot of times he doesn't.
Well, we've talked about this too. Like, what is work? How do you define work? What qualifies as work? And I was talking about this with someone here, and it made sense what he said, and I agreed with it. But as a business owner, I don't think it quite matches up. When you're an employee and you think of it that way, it's very simple to think anything that makes me money, where I'm earning money by doing it actively, with a like dollar to money ratio, is work. Now, I do a lot of things that are future work oriented, and I'm making zero money right now, as Jake is with this podcast. Exactly. And I say Jake because I've said this. I just show up. Jake runs this whole thing.
This is all this equipment is Jake's pocket money. Evergrow paid for none of it.
Thank you, Jake. You're welcome.
So, to me though, I think if someone said, well, Jake's doing that, but he's not making money from it, so he's not really working, that's insulting.
It's absolutely working. 100%.
And
it's a charity. You don't say people who work for nonprofits aren't working. They're working.
Yep.
I had something I wanted to say, but I forgot. So that'll probably get cut.
I got a question.
Geek.
This is for the ladies. What are some things in the agency culture that you picked up through osmosis, right? Like through us, just peripherally?
Oh my gosh, where do I begin? Just so much. I mean, so I think for me, it's mainly been like the field of work you're in, particularly. Like, I am somebody.
Well, landscaping,
like the SEO.
Both sides of the coin. Then,
like, I mean, like, I am somebody who has spent absolutely 0% of my time at all knowing anything about how the internet works, why things show up.
We want to go buy you a domain, and you're just like, what is going on?
The clicky ads. I didn't know any of this stuff. That's just not where my interests have ever lied.
Clicky ads.
And it's just like, it's been interesting. It's like,
PPC.
I know what that means. Pay per click.
Yeah.
Guys, I know, I'm a big deal. But like, for me, that has been eye-opening. But then I also think, so like, the actual information itself has been totally new to me, just a whole new thing. But then there's also like, I guess kind of the social side, like the kind of the culture of like the agency kind of bro guy
thing. Yeah.
And that was very much not in my life at all. And then I have also found out about that, and what a trip.
What is that? I don't think that's in mine.
The agency bro thing, because it's only in mine. It's not Cody.
Well, no.
To be in.
It was in my life,
and then
you
exiled it. You sent it to the shadow realm. I remember what I was gonna say earlier, and Alex Hormozzi talks about this. I know that's a new name for probably both of you.
Not for me.
Oh, Well, yeah, because I've been listening to Alex Hormozzi. So I agree with like 95% of the things Alex says. But there is one thing I don't agree with. And I can't remember if it was $15 or $50 an hour. Either way, I disagree with both. But he said that if you make either one of those, but we'll just say it's $50 an hour, because that's more, then you shouldn't be making any of your own food. You should be buying you should be buying meals or getting
so that you have more time.
So you have more time.
More money?
Yeah, exactly. Because by the time you cook the food and eat it and do all that, I've talked to you about this in a way. Then like you could have just worked and made $100 or $50 an hour. And I disagree, because what Cody said earlier, which was there isn't a dollar to hour equation. It's not like I just get to work an extra hour and put in some overtime and then the employer is going to pay me. Like, it's not how business works. There's a lot of time spent doing a lot and earning nothing for the time that you put in. Yeah, will it pay over time? Sure, probably. But is it going to equate to the $20 you spent at Chipotle for a burrito and a bag of chips? Like that, I disagree. I'm almost certain he said 15 an hour, which is absurd.
Depends what kind of food you're eating.
If you're eating,
how soon do you want to die?
I mean, yeah.
You just like, oh, okay, like
That's part of the bro mentality though, because they hear that and like they don't even think. They're just like,
no, yeah. It's the same guys who are like, I eat my cereal in the shower to save time.
Gary V. Gary Vaynerchuk. Lauren has the funniest Gary Vaynerchuk equivalency I've ever heard, and I died laughing when you said it.
he is the type of guy who would wipe his ass before he shits. And he'd say, see, look how much time it saves because there's nothing on the toilet paper. And
Jenny just says, oh God, and I'm over here dying.
But like, I just think it always misses the point. Like, you're missing the point of using the toilet paper. And
there was a video of him where he was just like, yeah, I swallow all my gum. Like I just swallow it. He's like, I don't know, I just can't be bothered with like wasting the
sounds like my family.
He's like wasting the 10th of a second and throwing it in the trash can, and I'm just like, that stays in your digestive tract for like ever.
It's actually not true.
What?
I looked it up just this week.
Just this week.
So the myth is that it stays in there for 7 years or whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's just like any normal food. It just came up in my life.
Who did that?
Who started that?
Yeah.
We should go find him.
Yeah.
probably
Or
the same person who said eating raw cookie dough will give you salmonella. Same guy.
So
He's just running around
yeah.
making stuff up.
I want to eat as much cookie dough as possible and see how long it takes. See if I either get salmonella or die.
Listen, I haven't yet, and I've got a problem. I'm not joking.
She eats a lot of cookie dough.
Understandable, though.
You just you made and ate a whole thing of cookie dough before we came to Japan.
That was not public discourse. What happens in the privacy of my own home is nobody's business.
She goes, I was in Indiana at that paintball tournament and came back and she's like, I made cookie dough. I was like, oh, cool. I had like 2 scoops. And then I went somewhere like Tuesday or something. I came back and I opened the fridge. I'm like, oh, I see you ate the cookie dough. And she's like, I didn't eat all of it. And I was like, I had 2 scoops. I was like, you ate most of it, almost all of it. And I was just like, babe, this is the Oreo dump cake all over again.
Another thing that
This is a work boundary.
I personally don't understand why you are attacking me in this moment.
She did the same thing. She made this whole thing of like Oreo dump cake. And then like she had like a couple or I had like I think I had 2 pieces of it, and it was like a whole like baking thing. I had 2 pieces, like 2 normal size pieces, and then like a week later it's gone. And I was like, babe, the Oreo dump cake is gone. And she's like, we ate like half of it. I'm like, no, I did not eat half of that. I was like, I had 2 pieces. I counted. And she just looks at me and goes,
I know who I am as a person. And when I say don't bring Oreos into the house, it's not a joke.
You've told me that before.
I can't have Oreos in the house.
Dangerous.
I have no control. It's not my fault.
You were a victim.
I was a victim. Thank you. Jenny gets it.
I feel like if we release this as the emotional toll and stuff, and then people just hear about we have good relationships, that's not going to be helpful to them. They're just going to be disappointed and be like, wait, I don't get it. What am I supposed to, what do I need to do?
Should I start trash talking?
Yeah, we can talk some negative stuff. Well, we've already, Laura and I, we talked a little bit about it because we've had those like come to Jesus talks. Because it's been stressful, like especially like the podcast. I'll start it off here. So like,
Okay.
I like to talk about the podcast a lot because the podcast Lauren has discussed with me has started to turn me into someone that I don't like, and Lauren's kind of seen it from the outside. I've also seen it from the inside looking in too, because I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it because it's the only way that I can explain it. It feels like there's like some level of like celebrity status because see, you're gonna laugh.
I am laughing.
She is laughing. I don't find myself a celebrity at all. The reason, but it's like imposter syndrome. You've mentioned this before, because people are like reaching out to us and saying they love the podcast, they're binging it, they're listening to it like crazy. I've got people who are quoting things that we've said better than I remember. And I'm just like, that's not how we do it. And they're like, but you said, and I'm like, I guess you're right. We do it that way. And so I maybe not celebrity, imposter syndrome is the right way, but it's also kind of ego inflating too. And I've had to like take a step back from that because
I think you should just talk to your business partner and he'll break you down real quick. There's no ego at our house.
He does a good job of that sometimes.
I don't get, you get most of the people who reach out to you.
Yeah.
That's a big difference is I think,
but everybody likes Cody the most.
that's not true.
It's true. How we talked about this before. See, I'm more accessible, but
Okay. Whoa. I'm not unaccessible.
but I'm most accessible.
Yes. All they have to do is try.
So now we're going to flip it and talk about your relationship.
Lauren and I conduct the interview.
And that's what I do like about it though too, because I've always been somebody who digs deep. Once I find something interesting, I'm going to figure out and that's probably why I'm in Japan, because it's very Japanese to be in that like mentality of a super fan or, you know, I'm going to learn everything possible about this to become a super expert in ways that it's almost borderline creepy. But I think like we both have, if you want information on us, it's all out there in multiple places.
But I think the difference is you often say, don't talk to me, please talk to Jake instead. You're a little bit less accessible. Like you make yourself sound less accessible.
Yeah, well, because I also don't want... Okay, here's a few beliefs that I have on this. I think, well, one, I don't feel like... I've never felt like a big deal. I don't feel like a big deal at all. I don't ever want to be a big deal. I say it every episode, like literally every episode I say 2.5 in Vanguard and I'm done. Like I just want, I don't mean that, I'll still stick around. But I want that level of freedom and flexibility to just disappear and not have as much obligation and pressure and that sort of thing. Because, like you said earlier on, I was deep into all this stuff and I found it super interesting. And I think the more that you want it, and the more that all you want is the attention and the fame and that's it. If you want those things more than anything, you're not going to get them.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how you get them. is by wanting them. You get them by going and doing the other things that are actually worthy of attention. And once I realized that, and I started shifting my mentality to, I just want to work. I want to work and I want to make money. And the more I did that and the more money you make, the less you care. That's for me anyway. I know that's not for everybody, but for me, it was, I don't care about any of these things anymore. And also I just had to stop like the self pressure too of self monitoring and am I presentable enough? Am I PC enough? Am I these things? Am I good enough to be putting this sort of stuff out there? And then just do it and accept whatever comes from it. And I think it's also because it's not as much, it's not Insta, it's not
Instagram.
Right. It's not a TikTok. That's a different crowd. That's an entirely different thing. To me, that is, people call them influencers. They're internet celebrities.
Yep, 100%.
I don't want anything.
Yeah, you don't. You are not influenced by influencers.
No.
He's de-influenced by the influencers.
Influencer.
Yes.
So I think once you start getting your head into that space of I just want to work and make the money and do that sort of thing, those other things, that's how you actually start to achieve it, if that is actually still what you want. But in my case, it was, I just stopped caring. I just genuinely was like, look, I don't. And we've always said from the beginning too, as long as this is fun, it's great. Let's keep doing it.
And I don't necessarily want that. I do like the idea of people looking up to what I have achieved as I kind of look up to the future version of myself. I have been kind of taking the approach of defluencing influencers, like just like tearing them down slowly and being like, you're not that great. Do you even have a podcast where 10 people listen to it? No. But that has kind of like crept in, like, honestly, it's kind of crept in that kind of like, the ego, that kind of like, I don't know, I guess I'm better than you kind of thing. And I've kind of seen myself become that, and I haven't liked that. And so a couple episodes ago, we made a mention of the fact that, hey, we're going to take it back a little bit and focus on more of the positives around the industry rather than kind of just like taking a dump on people who are fake gurus. We'll do that later. But
Sorry.
Or never.
Sorry.
Yeah, no.
It's a hot take.
But Lauren's also kind of helped me, see that too. And she's always like very nice about it. She's like, did I hurt your feelings? I didn't mean to. I'm like, no. Like, that's, it's what I need.
Well, there's the balance to it too, of, because there are a lot of people in this industry, in the digital marketing field, that I respect a lot, and I value their opinions, and I think they're super valuable and helpful and stuff. And if they did a podcast, though, I don't know that I would listen, just because you'd need some level of entertainment value.
If Barry Schwartz did a podcast, I'd just be like, listen to this. I'll read your 200-word articles though.
Yeah, so that you have to find this middle ground of how do you keep this sort of thing, which is, how do you keep it real so that you're not the guys pimping out their Lambos on YouTube?
I don't ever worry about you doing that.
Oh no,
Cody's like,
Lauren has to worry
get
about
ready
me doing
for the
that.
shock of your life.
you need
I would be shocked.
well, you need some level of that to keep people interested and entertained and excited, instead of just,
That's what I'm here for.
Let me tell you about the news today in digital marketing. This article on Search Engine
This
Land
is
came out.
where, like,
The Everhost come in.
no, I truly do think that comes back to just being genuine, like, just be like your genuine self and talk about like what has actually worked for the business, and like you can speak about it like an actual human being.
Well, that's the problem, is most people have not had anything work for their business. So
If they do, they're not talking. That's the other thing, too.
Yes.
I've made the argument.
I'm a very firm believer in that.
So Gary Vee promotes authenticity a lot. Like that's like his number one word. And I agree. The problem is I don't think people know what authenticity means. Like not objectively. I just mean subjectively in terms of themselves. What does it mean to be authentically you? Because everyone tries to be authentic, but they're inauthentically being authentic. If that makes sense. They're like faking a persona, and that persona is like their new authenticity.
Well, where else do you learn how to be? So for a podcast, for example, how do you learn how to be authentic if you've never had that sort of experience? Because like we've talked to lots of people at this point, and we've experienced the very strange difference of people's online personas and then talking to them in person, and then having that be a very different vibe.
I explained this to you when we first started this, and it was, I want to have a podcast, but I want the style of it to be like us. I know you don't drink, but us at a bar, sitting next to each other, just drinking a beer, just talking about the agency, but then also like a third person who was like trying to like listen in on kind of our agency and like what we were doing, and like that's really worked out for us. And I think if the way that I imagine myself being authentic is just sitting at a bar talking to somebody, because that's who I am.
Yeah, I have a question then. Okay, so say you and Cody are at a bar, let's say, and you're going to talk about me and Lauren. Since this podcast is about how it affects your relationship, what would you guys talk about?
That is such a great question. Holy cow. That's a really good question.
Let's go it. Yeah.
This is always a trap for me because I never answer. Like I can't.
That's why it's such a good question.
My answer is always insufficient to most people too, because I don't. When things get back to feelings, I don't explain my feelings, because you can't explain how you feel. You just feel how you feel because you feel that way.
I don't agree with the conversation. So for example, let me just give a quick example. So Cody says, I asked him, why do you like Japan? Like, what do you like about it? Why does it make you happy? And Cody goes, I don't know, it just makes me happy. And then he's like, why do you like going to Orange Theory? And I'm like, because I get a great workout in. I've noticed a difference in my muscles. You know, like I actually have reasons, but I think many guys, and definitely Cody, he like can't name the reasons. Like I'm like, if I asked Cody, like, why do you love me? He'd be like, great question. I just do. So
the words that have echoed
this is a real story that
time.
This happened once where Jenny said that, and I struggled for a second, and she was hurt.
He struggled not for a second, guys.
Lauren does this all the time.
Wait. Let me finish though, because if not, people are gonna think I'm a terrible person. So then a week later though, there's a very similar question that happened where they're like, Cody, why do you feel this way? And I'm like, I don't know. Like I can't explain. I just feel how I feel, and I don't know how to express feelings in words like that.
Must be a dude thing, because Lauren, you ask me this all the time.
I do.
This is why do you love me? I'm like, because you're my best friend. Why else?
At least you got an answer.
Great. And then it's always just like,
Well, because it's like, oh, well, you're my best. Well, what does that mean?
Lauren, but
and I'm just like, I
let
don't
it sink in
know.
silence. Let me.
Ask the question again. Ask the question again.
Oh, here, should we role play it out?
Role play it. Lauren, why do you love me?
I don't know.
Oh, that was fast. There was more silence.
Oh, okay. Retake. Jenny, I don't know.
And if you can believe this, folks, longer.
I was thinking.
He had to think a long time.
Okay, but you both should answer the question Jenny asked.
yeah.
I remember it. You gotta say it again.
If we were at a bar and we were talking about how our businesses affected our relationships, and we were talking to each other without the girls present, what would we say?
Yeah, like what would the conversation look like? What might be some questions you would ask each other?
If that was the direct question that was being asked to me right away, I would say that it just put a lot of, like, I would say, strain on our free time. It's very difficult for, like, I can't separate from business. It's so hard. There is no like off switch, and I can't, so we'll be laying in bed watching TV, and again, this is our own quality time, and this is a really good trick that you two use when you say, hey, is this quality time? Because I have a hard time telling. Any time I get with Lauren is quality time. Even if I'm working and she's next to me, that's quality time to me. Her presence is near me, and I enjoy that. But I've learned over time that is not sufficient for her. So, like, when we're laying in bed, when we're watching Naked and Afraid or Golden Girls or whatever it is, and like we're just laying there and not saying anything to each other, and I pull on my phone and answer an email or just like look at my notifications or whatever, like, she notices that. And
because in her mind, it's quality time in that moment. And
I never thought it was something that you would, one, notice, and two, care about, because we're just sitting there watching, not saying anything, just watching Golden Girls during certain things, but like it prevents the opportunity to say something, and it closes things off. And like that's something I've had to kind of learn over time.
Because like in that moment, to me, we are having an experience watching a show. But then when it's like, I look over, you're on your phone, it's like, okay, so no, really, I'm only watching a show and you're still working. So like, I might as well do something else.
Yeah, like I could be watching this alone, or I could be doing something else.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I should have kept my laptop open and kept working. Like, if that's going to be the situation.
Yeah. But the reason this happened in the first place was, well, I think this probably started when Jenny became not became a manager, became a super manager.
Oh my gosh,
She got a lot more on her plate, right? And this is during COVID when, we're working from home and she's putting in more time and stuff. And she started just leaving her AirPods in when she'd go to the kitchen and stuff I couldn't tell if she's on a call, right? She became the woman who was like walking and having business calls, which is cool, but I don't.
Hashtag boss babe.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's very cool and impressive and stuff, but I couldn't tell the difference between when she was just like getting food in the kitchen or cooking something or preparing something. And then one time you just asked me, like, does that bother you? And I said, no, it's fine. And then like I had thought about it and I processed for 10 minutes and then I said, yeah, no, it does. It actually does bother me.
This is the turn.
Why did it bother? Wait, why did it bother you?
For the same reasons, right? I mean, it feels like a letdown when you are giving somebody your full attention with a unspoken agreement or unspoken understanding. Well, and again, that's the problem, right? Is that it's unspoken and you need to communicate.
Yep.
It's like when you show somebody your favorite song and they're just like not paying attention. They're just like, oh.
I am really dumb too. So this is a conversation. I'm not actually dumb. I say it in the sense that I need communication. I need it detailed, direct, because if Cody just like expected, like I didn't know until he told me that he wanted my headphones off. I mean, I know that seems like common knowledge to some people, but because he works so much, I thought, why can't I wear, like why not when, like kind of like Lauren said earlier, like why wouldn't I keep going? So it was important for us to have that conversation. And I think in return, I have to use the same thing for him when we're doing dinner. Sometimes he'll be messaging Jake or a client or whatever it is, and on his phone during dinner, I have to go, can this be quality time? And then he said, yep, let me just let Jake know. And then so we just have to say, is this quality time? We just ask each other that question, and we do it most days, I would say.
It really is all about communication. And I honestly think like that is the number one thing to help in literally any facet of this. It's just, if you are feeling a certain way, you need to communicate it. And also, how can you communicate it in a way that it's productive and not you can talk about, hey, that makes me feel sad without, having a huge blowout. It doesn't have to be.
I think we might adopt this quality time thing, but I want to make it better. I want a safe word. I want to like pineapple. But we can't use that one. That's already being
no,
used.
no. Especially with, our select neighbor.
Oh, yes.
I think there's already some.
Oh, yeah. There's some drama with
There's some definite pineapple behavior, except I don't think it's a known pineapple situation.
Metaphorical pineapple, not like a physical
pineapple.
One. For the listener who's aware of the pineapple.
The pineapple tobacco.
Okay. They kind of rhyme. I don't know why, but it's the end of that. I'm gonna bring it back. Let's reel it back.
Okay. Did you answer Jenny's question fully, or did you have more?
I felt like I did a great job answering her question.
Accusation. It was just confirmed.
I wanted to say Lauren has a defense mechanism for when I do this email answering stuff, and it's scrolling through Shein or Amazon or something like that. And it's also gotten to a point where you kind of instinctively do it because she just expects that I'm going to be doing it, and then I pull open my phone. I'm like, well, if she's going to be on Shein or Amazon, I'm going to answer emails. But I'm not communicating to her like, hey, if you're going to be on Shein or Amazon, I'm going to answer, emails, because then she'll look back at me and see me answering emails and she's like, fine, I want to keep scrolling through all this. And then next thing you know, it's a chicken and an egg situation. And it could have just been communicated, and then I was like, but you were scrolling through Shein, and then like all of a sudden it's like this thing, and it just doesn't need to be.
Yeah, I mean, it took us a long time to figure out, just saying like, hey, is this quality time? It's
pineapple.
Easy, or pineapple. Yeah, whatever.
I don't think we're gonna keep that
tangerine.
No. What was that weird fruit that got all of them really sick on Naked and Afraid?
Oh, I don't know.
I want to use that one.
We should use that one. Yeah, it was a type of, I don't know. We'll look it up.
We'll look it up.
Cody.
So I'm curious, you didn't answer my question.
I didn't.
This will have to be the last one because one, I'm hungry, and two,
yes,
I think the GoPro died.
Okay, Jenny asked me again.
If you and Jake were sitting at a bar together, let's say, and you were talking about your relationships, me and Lauren aren't there, what kind of conversation would you have? What would that look like?
I'm talking to my business partner. This isn't just a rando.
This is Jake, your business partner. Yeah. This is Jake.
I talk to him pretty openly.
Yeah, but what, Cody?
Is that not sufficient?
Okay,
no.
Cody, what specifically would you be saying about Jenny?
She's great.
About your
what about
the strain.
Jenny? What about Jenny is great?
About the strain on the relationship that the business has on your relationship.
Or like what positive? Like how does your business, the agency, affect her?
I would say I'm very fortunate. I think that's important to. What?
Well, that's nice. That was nice.
That was good. That was good.
Positive.
I think. Yeah, I would say that I'm very fortunate in that. I think many people don't know they're in a bad relationship until they're in a good one, or until they see a good one. And then they find out what's healthy and what's normal and that sort of thing. And that was me. And also that I was the bad guy in many cases too, though, right? Like everybody's the bad guy in somebody else's story. That's the truth, and that's the case. But being with the wrong person can make you a bad guy just because it's a bad mix-up, and that it's never an excuse. It's not an excuse to do bad things or to.
It's an explanation, not an excuse.
Right. And so I think I'm just extremely fortunate in that I have a extremely understanding partner, and supportive. Right. I think those are two extremely critical things in business: is that your spouse is understanding and supportive, or the spouse, partner, whatever you want them to be. So I would say those things. And then as far as strains go, I think it's on myself, my own pressure to be like, look, I need to know when to call. I need to know when to call it and say. So for example, the one that I was the worst at was holidays for a long time. Holidays used to be my excuse to work, my time to work, like a dedicated time. So I worked on Christmas, I worked on Easter, because it was fun. Like, and I avoided my family, so and I liked it and it was a good time. But what that ended up being was me spending like really important time not where it should be on holidays, where people, you know, ideally want to spend. So I had to start getting better at that, and instead of banking on holidays to accomplish major tasks in the
Which
business.
this is recent. I know this would surprise people, but I mean, like I said, we've been together since 2013.
The dawn of time.
Yeah, a long time. But just until recently, like sometimes Cody would work on Christmas and I'd go to a Christmas thing without him. You know, like, and that was okay with me because again, I get it.
That's
I grew up
weird.
with it. Yeah, it is. It is.
Well,
works for us.
if it's
but
your own thing, I guess it's not because Lauren has to work on Christmas.
yeah, and I did.
But you work like retail in a way. So
Yeah.
yeah, you have a retail team to manage.
Cody just didn't enjoy the holidays, but he realized he does enjoy the holidays with me, and with my family, which is it's really nice. And with now, like he, go ahead.
It takes years to rewire your brain from bad programming, right? However whatever your programming is and how you grew up and how you dealt with things.
How many years? I need to know.
Took me 10.
Damn.
10 years.
Took me 10 years to really
So
undo.
I've got like 5 or 6 years to go.
No, you guys learn faster than us, I think.
I don't. There's a whole slew of fun things we get to overcome.
You know, it's funny. This podcast is about how the business has impacted your relationship. And for us, I think it's been mostly positive, even though, but Japanese, Cody learning Japanese, which I think maybe he has put above the business sometimes.
Oh,
too.
no.
Yeah.
He's admitted that. Cody and I had a relationship talk about that.
Yeah, so that has been way harder on our relationship than the business ever has been. We've had more conversations about that than I've never had a single issue with him being an agency owner, to be completely honest. It's just been nice and great. Full support. In Japan, Japanese, I'm fully supportive too, but there's been harder conversations regarding that.
Maybe that's the thing, is that like becoming an agency owner has given us the freedom to do things that we want to do, that we're passionate about, and those are the things that are like causing strain. So like you learning how much you learn in Japanese, this podcast I feel pretty passionate about and doing, and like
In paintball, traveling.
It does hurt because that's why you do the agency.
Yeah,
So
because
you-
it allows me to do those things, but it's like consuming my time. It's not the agency that's consuming it. It's the agency allowing me to do the things I've always wanted to do, but I couldn't because I didn't have money or time or whatever. And now that I do, it's like, okay, you gotta ease into it. You can't just dive in, you know?
Absolutely.
I'm a big believer that you can have everything. You can't have everything all at once.
Yep.
Right.
And it's just prioritization. And I mean, we've had issues with me and my work as well.
Yeah.
Like it's, you know,
I think lately, ever since I turned 30, like I've been like, I'm not old, but like I've also had to. Lauren signed me up for AARP as a joke, lied about my age, and now I
lied about it.
get AARP like mail every day.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and I even have an ID card.
No way.
I made up his birthday. It was okay. Okay.
That's a good joke.
It was, first of all, so like I ordered it. I signed him up, but I wanted it, like the little card to come in time for like his birthday. So like it was like a gag gift, but then it like didn't come until several months after his birthday. And he's just like, why am I getting this AARP mail?
Babe, to be fair, I got AARP mail immediately on my birthday. But I thought it was just like spam, you know? And so like I was like, what? And I remember sending it.
It truly was meant to just be like kind of a gag gift, and then just kind of got really big. And now it's out of hand.
I put this on Snapchat, and like my mom commented or sent me a snap. She goes, "Wow, they really start early." But I didn't know Lauren set this up, and I just like I got a packet from them.
I
And
truly thought it was going to be like just a lightheartedly, just like a little funny
You
thing.
couldn't, like, the only worst thing you could sign someone up for is the Church of Scientology. Like, and like, they will just beat your door down. So anyways, back to I've kind of been realizing my mortality a lot lately. And it's not something I did in my 20s where I was like, I got plenty of time to like learn and do all these things. Like I keep saying next year I want to take my pilot's course and I want to learn how to fly, but that's probably going to get put off. And it's like I'm learning Spanish and like I want to do fencing, like not installing fences, but like, sword fencing. And
and you can do any of those things.
yeah, but not all at once, like you said. But like that's the whole thing that I feel like I'm realizing my mortality. When in my 40s and my 50s, like at what point am I getting too old to master something? And what do I prioritize in my 30s? Because anything you want to master takes 3 to 5 years minimum. And how do I do multiple things in my 30s?
You don't.
Yeah.
I know that might sound sad,
so
but
30 is not dead.
30's young in business.
Yeah, I know, but in business, not unlike.
I'll let you know when I get there.
Look, if I can at least go semi-pro in paintball.
Oh.
Well, it'd be the most helpful that anybody could do for you is probably share this podcast and leave a review, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Like,
sure.
comment, subscribe.
Not a negative.
No.
Like, comment, subscribe.
I don't know. What did they say?
I did.
hit the 5 stars, folks.
What?
Yeah,
Hit the 5
hit the
stars.
5. Hit
Is
the
that what
5
we're supposed
stars.
to say?
You can hit the 4 stars if you really want, but
Hit the 5.
nothing lower than that. Nothing.
That would help Jake do all the things.
For every person who
It doesn't
scrolls
help me.
by and doesn't give it a 5-star review is the day that our dogs go without eating. Not really. Oh my God, no. I love my dogs more than anything in this world.
I want to. You ever in Scooby Doo, the live action movie, where like Lauren has the best Yoshi impression.
I can't do it.
She won't do it right now. But
I'll do it on command. I won't.
just know it's good. But in that live action Scooby where he's like, no, you're gonna edit that. You're gonna edit that, and you're gonna make it sound like I think Coolsville sucks. And then like, the news plays it, and then like it cuts to Fred, and he's like, I think Coolsville sucks. It's like I want to edit everything you said there. You're just gonna be like, I hate dogs. Our dogs aren't gonna eat.
Dogs suck.
Speaking of eating, you guys want to go eat?
Let's eat. Let's eat.
All right, wait. Do you know how we end the podcast?
Oshimai.
No, that's how we end meetings. That's how we end.
Konbanwa?
But no, that's business. All right,
No.
we'll end it.
It's like we just learned they don't even listen.
Yeah,
Thank you for being a friend. Like that.
I do know Lauren listens to the Always Sunny pod. She prioritizes that podcast over the Everbros podcast.
Rob McElhenney's on one of them and not the other. That's all I'm saying.
She says Always Sunny podcast is good.
Well then, Jake, wrap us up. I can't take this.
All right, everybody. That was our episode on relationships. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.